Hi all. So this is for the assignment 1 for VCC project. Deploy a web app in 3 VMs. This in virtual machine configuration and an application deployment and access it through the third VM. So totally we have configured 3 VMs to complete this project. And the first thing is I have configured a NAT network adapter for each VM so that it can interact using a host IP address, just to share the host IP address. So I did the same for all the 3 VMs so that can interact to each other. I have created all the 3 VMs using Ubuntu Jellyfish 22.04 version. So the first thing I've done is I've deployed MongoDB Community Edition on the VM2, which is going to act as the database server here. And I've created my own database and added a collection to it in the name of students. So once I've created the database, I have validated that the database is in a good condition and it is showing us an active state. And for MongoDB, we use the port 27017. So if you are going to access the MongoDB from a different machine, then the access is going to use the port 27017 to access the MongoDB database on this database server. So VM1, VM2, and VM3 has its own IP addresses. So VM2 has this IP address 192.168.36.131 in 24 subnet. So similarly, I have the same for the VMs as well. So this one is having the network address is 130. VM2 is having 131, and the VM3 is having an IP address as 132. Okay. So now I have deployed the web application using VS Code. So I have used a application.py file, and in the application.py file, I have specified which Mongo database it need to connect and to which database client it need to connect and which collection it need to insert. So I've defined the code that way so that and I have created a index.html file which is going to act as the web app, which is the front end. When we try to access the browser, it's gonna populate the information based on the content defined here. So here what I have done is, so the communication to the MongoDB need to be established, right? So I have set up some firewall rules and I have allowed this port from this machine to anywhere. And we are exposing the web app at port 5000. So I have just added rule for that as well. I allowed it through the firewall. And when I try to execute these commands, it gives me an output as with the web app URL. So with that, I was accessing it. And this is from the VM1. I'm able to fetch the web application. And in there, I'm adding the title and I'm giving the content and giving the author name and I'm submitting it, which adds a record, which inserts a record into the Mongo database. I've already added these many records just for testing. So this is from the VM1 input and this is from the VM3. So our project is about accessing the web app from the VM3. So the web app is exposed to the port 5000. So I straight away went to the VM3 and I allowed the port communication through the firewall as well. So this machine is deployed with the low RAM, so it's taking some time. But once I allowed it, so it is able to reach the web app server at this IP address, and it's able to communicate through the port, and it gave me the same inputs. So now I'm trying to insert a record. Check one. And just giving some random input here. I'm the author of this one. AI 2011. I'm just giving it along with my roll number, and I am submitting the record. So from the VM3, it's able to access the web application, which is deployed on VM1, and web application inserted the record to the Mongo database successfully. So that can be viewed in a GUI, or we can use a Mongo SH to review the collections from the records from the collection that we have created. So I just tested all these records, and the record that we actually did is this one, which we inserted while recording this video is this one. It was able to successfully insert it. So that's all for the video, guys. Thank you.